Hey everybody, I'm Sean. Welcome to another episode of Angling Spiders. Welcome back everybody. On today's episode, it is another Gear Review Wednesday, and this time I'm also reviewing another underwater camera. This time a new one that was sent to me by Eyoyo, their smallest underwater camera with a 4.3 inch screen and 720p. But it's also got another unique feature. So what I'm going to do today is give you an unboxing and show you what's unique about this camera. All right, let's have a look at what comes in the box for this underwater fishing camera. First up, we have the user manual, the instructions, next up we have the camera itself, and that is attached to the base that has the cable and the camera. Then we have a number of other accessories, including the plug for the power cable, the power cable itself, a bobber. This is something that Eyoyo always includes with their kits, which I find interesting. The camera housing, some rings, and probably one of the more interesting features of this one, a rod mount. So you can put this unit directly onto a fishing rod. All right, everyone, here is the camera. And for those of you that watch the channel, you'll know that I recently reviewed another underwater camera that had a similar setup to this one, in that it is attached to the base unit here that houses the cable and the camera itself. In this case, they've got a Velcro band that's covering the cable that'll help you for cable storage. And this unit slides off some clips that are on the base unit, so you can put it back on and it locks in place, and that is how it stays on there. This one has a small screen, 4.3 inches, and it is a 720p and does not have DVR. So this is not a unit that you're going to record video with. But because of its small size at 4.3 inches, this is also why it comes with that attachment that allows you to put this directly onto a rod, which is definitely an interesting feature and something that I haven't necessarily seen on one of these units before. So that's it. As I said, on the side, you've got the plug for the AV for the camera, and you've got the charging port, and there is no SD card slot because this is not a recordable camera. Next step is to get this thing charged up and get it working. All right, I've had it charging now for a little while. The power button's here on the left-hand side. You just got to hold that down. And there we go. And now we have a blank screen because I have not yet plugged in the camera, but we do have a menu over here on the right hand side. There's your brightness setting, your contrast, saturation, language, and looks like that's it. So there's no date and time on this one, again, because you're not recording, so you're not needing a date and time stamp. I guess the next step is to plug this cable in and see what the picture quality looks like. Now, plugging in this camera is pretty simple. Again, it's just a standard AV jack into the side of the camera and you are good to go. And there we go. And again, you need to orientate the camera up and down. And there is the image. It is in color, and it's got a little bit of a fisheye lens to it. So that's interesting, but it looks pretty good considering it's 720p. The other thing this camera's got is a 4x zoom. You just hit the plus button here to zoom in and the minus button to zoom out. So as I mentioned, if you want to use this camera horizontally, you need to use the housing unit that comes with the camera, and you need to slide the camera into it. Now, if you just try, it will actually hit a lip here and it won't go any further. You need to separate the housing, and that will allow the camera to be seated fully into the housing, and there we go. And then the next step is you need to thread the camera cable through this groove so that it will hold the camera horizontal when you put it down the hole. It's pretty easy to get the cable in on this one, which is nice, but it does help to have something like a small screwdriver if a portion of it is not going in completely, like this one. And there we go. That's seated, and so now when we hold the camera in the ice, it's going to hold that camera horizontal. If you don't want that and you just want to shoot straight down the hole, you don't need to use a housing, and you can put it down the hole vertically and get a shot straight down. That's pretty much the setup. There's a couple of clips that come with this. If you want to clip the cable onto something else, and the bobber if you want to just hang this directly into your hole on a bobber. And so that's it, really. And the other thing I guess I'll point out that's important is, once again, this camera does not have any marks on it in terms of up or down. And so when you seat the camera, if I turn it on, you need to orientate it in the housing so that it's shooting in the proper direction. So I'm pretty close right now. I got it pretty close. If I turn the camera just a little bit, there we go. When it's sitting in the water, it's now going to be sitting perfectly straight up and down. But you have to check that and turn the camera to make sure that you get it orientated properly. All right, so that's going to do it for the unboxing and overview of this camera. Next up is to get it out into the ice and check it out under the water, as well as to check out this crazy on-rod camera mount. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how this works. All right, everybody, I'm back outside, and you know that I had to have a look at that thing with the rod mount on it, and so that's what I've done. I've mounted the rod mount for the camera screen onto my ice fishing rod, and here it is. I gotta say, it actually looks really good. I haven't yet plugged the base unit in, so you would need to do that and let out some cable from the base unit so that you could attach it to your rod. But I could totally see myself using this while I'm ice fishing with my rod set up in my rod holder, my Eyoyo set up on top of the rod, and looking at it. And the beautiful thing about this is you can also use it while you're jigging, or even if it's stationary. And I think this setup is pretty interesting, so you're gonna see some footage of that in a future video for sure. This is really, really unique and not something I've ever seen before. The other thing I really like about this is it's not really that heavy. There is obviously some weight to it, but it doesn't add too much, so it's not going to distract you if you're actually needing to use your rod. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for this one. A quick unboxing with some of the features, and my next step is to get this thing out on the ice and get it tested. It's going to be a little bit hard to show you guys the footage because this version does not have a DVR, but I'll at least give you my impressions. And of course, I'm going to try out that on-rod mount and see how that works out, and I'll definitely show you guys some of that as well. So that's going to do it. Once again, thank you so much to Eyoyo for sending this to me for my review. And if you guys like these videos, remember, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and until next time, good fishing.